How can you tell where someone comes from by the shape of their ears?
And how rude is a piece of paper?
How can you turn and move in space? Whoa!
How?
How can I make money disappear?
Invest it in stocks and shares.
A very good way of doing it, Mr. Fred, but I can do it another way.
How?
Right. Let me have a deal with you. If
Yes.
I can make some of your money disappear in front of your very eyes, can I keep it?
Yes.
Have you a coin, sir?
Yes, as long as it's in front of my eyes, my last 10 pence.
The coin on the table, I have no sleeves, so there is nothing up them. Place glass on top of coin. Can you still see it?
Yes, it's still there. Ah.
This is the magic. Pour water into the glass. It disappears.
Gosh.
And the reason why it disappears is because the water bends light. And if you don't believe me, then look at this. Water in a bowl, straight pencil. Place the pencil into the water, and the pencil appears to bend. Straight and bent. And the water in the glass bends the light so much that you can't see the coin at all.
So my 10 pence is still there?
Not really, Fred, no.
How can you move in space? Now, movement on Earth is kind of difficult, and it's the very things that make movement on Earth difficult that make it possible. I'm talking about friction and gravity. Carol, come with me. I shall need your assistance on this. Come with me to simulated space. Now, step yourself up onto simulated space.
Oh, right.
Yep, I've simulated space here with a frictionless turntable. Now then,
Okay.
attempt to stop yourself.
Stop! I can't stop, guys.
Okay, well, try and go the other way then. Can't do that either, can you?
No.
I will help. Allow me to stop you. Now.
Right.
Okay, stable?
Yes.
Stable. Hair out of mouth. Take hold of this bicycle wheel. Now, you wouldn't have thought that a bicycle wheel would be much help in space.
No.
But indeed it is. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, now twist the bike wheel.
Ah! Oh! Ah! Oh!
Twist it the other way.
And stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you stop yourself?
Yes.
Right. Now, this is actually how satellites control their position in space. They have three, not bicycle wheels, but gyroscopes, which work in different planes, and that controls their position relative to where they are, as it were. And that's all very well for turning on the spot, but what about if you want to go somewhere? All right, Chuck, let me take this from you. That's why I had the gloves on. Right. Take hold of this rocket, or in our case, fire extinguisher, really. All right. now then.
Yes.
There is a law which says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if the gas from this cylinder goes that way, then you should go that way. But being as you're standing on a turntable, you'll go round and round. Fire it up. I'm going to go this way.
Are you ready?
And if Carol was really in space, she'd carry on spinning forever and forever. Now, so much for going around forever and ever in space. I'll now simulate straight lines in space using my friction-free skateboard and this jetpack of compressed air. And this should propel me forward.
Gaz on top of the world. I'm worried about him. How can you tell where someone comes from by the shape of their ears? Back to earth, lads. Take a look at Gaz's ear. As you'd expect, a rather unusual one, slightly shell-like, which indicates he might come from near the sea. Probably, I think, from North Wales, Gaz, you are.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
And let's take a look at Carol's ears. Again, it's very, very similar, actually, to Gaz's. A bit smaller, of course, a bit more feminine, a bit more feline. Again, that shell-like shape. Again, from North Wales, I think, from near the sea. Probably from near Rill in North Wales.
He's right.
He's right.
Are you
How do you know that?
You told me yesterday, don't you remember? But it's not easy with these two. It doesn't work with humans, but it does work with elephants. You know the old problem. Some elephants have got big ears and some elephants have got small ears, little ears. Which is which? Some are African elephants, some are Indian elephants. How do you tell the difference? I'll tell you how. The elephant with the big ears comes from Africa, And you can tell because his ears are the same shape as Africa. The little elephant comes from India, and you can tell because his ears are the same shape as the country he comes from, India.
That's very thoughtful of them, isn't it?
That's how, you see, you tell the difference between the elephant from Africa and the elephant from India, or the difference between him and him. That's how.
Well, how rude is a piece of paper?
Well, it depends what you write on it, I suppose.
No. It depends what's drawn on it.
Well, possibly.
This is a plain piece of paper, is it not? I can make this piece of paper rude by doing this. Take a pencil, place it in one corner, wrap that corner around it and roll right to the very end. Once you've done that, loosen it slightly and the pencil drops out. Secure that with a piece of sellotape and...
Not very rude.
Not very rude at the moment. This is the clever bit. At one end, take a pair of scissors and cut from the V to one side and open it out, and then cut from the V to the other side so that you end up with an arrowhead. Bend that arrowhead upwards, like that. Place the other end in your mouth and suck gently.
Yes, that is rude.
It is rude, is it not? Now, the longer you make your piece of paper, the lower the raspberry.
Thank you.
The shorter it is, the higher the raspberry. And I think
Thank
we
you.
ought to have the rude paper symphony, if we will, gentlemen. After 3, a 1, a 2, suck. And that's how rude a piece of paper can be.
How did cats help to win the Second World War? Starring with me in this particular, how the lovely Agatha and her 4 beautiful daughters. Aren't they lovely?
They are gorgeous.
Like all cats, they have remarkable eyes because behind their retina, they have a surface which reflects things. Now, it's actually designed to help make them see better at night, but as well as that, it also reflects any light which is shone into the cat's eyes. For example, if you shine a torch into a cat's eyes at night, you'll see that lovely gleaming beam that comes back to you. And cats, in fact, led a Yorkshireman called Percy Shaw to invent this particular thing, which he called cat's eyes. And what it is, 2 lenses set in a rubber mounting, which is then put on the road. And what that does is reflect car headlamps. So, Carol, if you could switch your headlights on and point them straight into my cat's eyes, straight into the lenses. And the driver, in fact, is able to follow the line of the road because he's got a lovely shiny trail of lights in front of him called cat's eyes.
So what is the connection, Fred, between cats and Britain winning World War II?
I thought you'd never ask. You see, in the Second World War, when Hitler's bombers were overhead at night, it was absolutely vital that all lights were turned out so they couldn't see where they were dropping their bombs. All factory lights out, street lights, house lights, and cars, when they were driving along the road at night with their headlights on, had to have a hood over the headlight like so, which in fact meant that Hitler's bombers couldn't see them from above, but of course it was very difficult for drivers to see where they were going. It was also vital that lots of army trucks and vehicles were moved around at night, and the only way they did that, apart from this little hood, was with the help of cat's eyes in the road. Cat's eyes, how cats helped to win World War II.
Oh, no! How can you continue your journey when you've had a puncture? The answer is to carry a spare, and that's exactly what I have on the back of my bike here. Ugh. Not a spare tyre, though. A spare motorbike. Now then, get that clear. Let's see, if I pull that up to there, I swing that round to there, and then I do that and that, then it starts to look like a serious motorbike. I do that, I do that, I do that, I put my lid on, and off I jolly well go. Whoa!
No, steady on. Cut, steady on.
Yeah!
Oh, no! But what happens if you have a second puncture? The answer is to carry a second spare on my back this time. It's not a spare motorbike. Would you believe? A spare push bike? Check this out. Now then, that bit comes up to there, and so I can tighten that up, and we've got a pair of handlebars. If I release that catch there and pull that up, then I've got something to sit on. Now, this is the clever bit. Watch this. One fluid movement. Huh? Very nice, Mr. Jones. Seal that there like that. And, oh, yeah, pedals. That bit comes out there like that and seals there, so the pedal lies flat. Still doesn't look right. How about that, then? And I'm now able to continue my journey, even though I've had a puncture. Yahoo!
Smashing house.
How can you take ice cream out of a boiling hot oven and yet it will still remain frozen?
Wait a minute. Ice cream, boiling hot oven, contradiction in terms. You can't.
I can, and I can do it if I protect it from the heat in the oven by wrapping it in its own little quilt.
In a quilt?
In a quilt. I will
come?
show you how. Well, first of all, of course, you need the ice cream fresh from the freezer. And next, you need the quilt. Except a quilt wouldn't be very tasty. So in this circumstance, we're going to use meringue. And how do you make a meringue? Well, you need some egg whites. How do you separate the yolk from the white? You crack the egg open on the side of the bowl, and you do this, and all the egg white falls into the bowl. Now, once you've finished with that and collected 4 or so egg whites, make sure there's absolutely no yellow in the bowl, otherwise the meringue won't work. Now, to protect the ice cream from the heat, we need some sort of insulation, and that's the quilt. And the wonderful thing is that we have air in this quilt. And how do we add air to the mixture? Well, we whisk it up like this. Now, you keep going with that until it's ready. How do you know it's ready? You know it's ready when it looks beautifully snowy, and it has peaks which stay still if you fluff them up. Your meringue is almost ready, because at this point it looks good, but it doesn't taste particularly nice. So you need to add some sugar, like that. But you have to fold the sugar in gently, otherwise you'll bash out all the air and you won't have your protection at all. Once you've done that, you end up with something like this. This is the quilt, except you need a quilt on the bottom. The quilt on the bottom is Swiss roll, because that's full of tiny pockets of air as well, and that insulates the bottom of the ice cream from the heat. You do that, you put the ice cream on top, and then you cover the whole lot in your meringue. And you have to make sure that there are absolutely no gaps whatsoever, otherwise the heat will get through and the ice cream will melt. Now, once you've done that, a little tidier than I have, you plonk it in the oven for 5 minutes, but you have to be pretty careful to choose the right oven, because microwave ovens cook from the inside out, so the heat gets in there first of all, and you'd end up with something like this. Not particularly pretty. You put it in a proper oven. This one's been in here for a few minutes, and when you take it out, it looks wonderful, it looks crisp, it's a very hot bowl. The moment of truth, gentlemen. We slice it open. A frozen ice cream inside.
Well done.
Would you like a bit?
Yeah.
Excuse me, this way, dear. There you go, some for you and some for you, Gaz. How?